Hello, it's me, TH Massacre. I am a high-level occultist. I do tarot and lots of divination. I also make beautiful, I repeat, beautiful art logos. If you want more esoteric wisdom and magic, you can visit thmassacre.co.uk. Come see where I am. Very peaceful, very nice. Hello, welcome. If this is your first time seeing my content, do go and look at my other videos. They're very interesting. If you are a returning subscriber of TH content, welcome back. Let's rip a veil, a hole in the veil. In the UK, it is now coming out that Sir Keir Starmer and his Labour government suppressed an investigation by MI6 and would have involved MI5 about espionage involving the CCP, which is the Chinese Communist Party. Conspiracy theorists told everyone and tried to warn everyone that COVID was made in a lab in China. Conspiracy theorists then tried to warn people not to take the vaccine for many reasons. Conspiracy theorists then told people about what was going on at these secret islands like Epstein's disgusting rape island. Conspiracy theorists have continually tried to warn the public that a lot of the media is state propaganda and mind control. Conspiracy theorists have warned the public that their water and their toothpaste and a lot of the products they use and the food they consume is full of dangerous chemicals. Conspiracy theorists have tried to warn the public that a lot of the content that they consume as entertainment is literally not only bread and circus to distract them, but full of occult symbolism and pattern programming to program the subconscious mind. Conspiracy theorists have long talked about 9/11 not being quite what it seems, that it was indeed an inside job. Conspiracy theorists have long warned about government shadow deep state cabals connected to satanic signs and symbols. Conspiracy theorists have long talked about the elites being above governments, billionaires and technocrats and aristocrats of old family bloodlines controlling puppet politicians. Conspiracy theorists have long warned about the rise of Zionism and the poison of certain ideologies in how they're trying to eradicate other races through ethnic cleansing. Conspiracy theorists warned about the fact that all these elite leaders are all part of a seven-headed nation beast, whether it's Putin in Russia or whatever British puppet Prime Minister or whatever dictator over in the Far East. They're all part of the same playbook. Conspiracy theorists repeatedly tried to point out that the government and politicians lie to people, that it doesn't matter which side you vote for, they're both the same wings of the same bird, because symbolically they're all connected to the same signs and symbols. Conspiracy theorists have long warned the public about elites and false idols and stars and actors being involved in secret satanic cult rituals. What's fucking depressing is how everything that conspiracy theories turned around and said, things like the moon landing being fake, shouldn't really let a government get away with it, with things like that. Everything that conspiracy theorists have said not only came true, but weren't theories anymore, they were conspiratorial facts. The FBI, the CIA, MI6, MI5, every single agency has never worked for the people. You have to understand this. They have always been part of the psyop to control the government and the people. This is a problem for the world. This is a problem for everyone. Doesn't matter who believes in what or who's responsible for what. What we do know is that the people in power in virtually every single government around the world are all part of the same secret cult and society. That they are all worshippers of Saturn and connected to the synagogue of Saturn. Let's be real in this situation. If a government is involved with espionage of a foreign state, whether that's giving money to countries to carry out genocides or support corporations that fund said genocides, or whether it's them supporting and promoting dangerous vaccines and lying to the public about where a pandemic came from and originated, and even when it transpires to come from a fucking lab, people should have gone to jail. No one did, not one single arrest. You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out what's going on here. It's all of them. There are no saviours. Donald Trump is just as much of guilty of illegal criminality as Joe Biden was. Joe Biden handed the Taliban an entire fucking load of weapons. That isn't incompetence, it's treason. These people should not be allowed to resign or retire or end up in the corporate system or be involved in anything. These CEOs, the fact that so many of them are entangled in such a web of financial corruption, it's not even funny. The whole fucking system is corrupt and broken. Your politicians are not only lying to you, they are actively covering up investigations involving crimes against children. And this isn't in one country, it's in multiple countries. Let me just be clear. It's their laws and courts and legal system that actively allows this to continue and actively covers it up. That is a broken system. When that happens, the rule book, I'm afraid, goes out the window, because those that actually study the legal system, its origins, its history, its formation, and study the legalese and the dictionary and the laws that they fucking made up, no, it's all a load of hocus pocus. When the government are breaking the law and have failed and have allowed their country to be infiltrated by foreign assets through blackmail, that is such an illegal crime. The only punishment the only way to deal with that, There is no peaceful solution at that point. Just to be clear, you cannot just arrest these people and put them through the very same legal system that is corrupt. It doesn't work. This is where judges now need to come under fire. Historically, and this is fact, and this is not to insinuate any level of violence, I'm just talking about history here. Historically, when this situation arose throughout history, this is how revolutions happen, and this is where the death penalty was used against corrupt individuals at the top, whether they be a king or a politician. It doesn't matter. When people are involved in the worst crimes, where they've actually betrayed their own country and their own people, they've stolen taxes, wasted taxes, misspent taxes. Let me point out, most of the money that is spent by these governments, no one votes or knows what this money is actually being spent on. And when we do find out, it turns out to be for things that have got nothing to do with us. It's not helping our country at all. It's not serving the people that paid these fucking taxes. The whole system is so unbelievably, disgustingly corrupt. People going to jail is not enough. There needs to be some severe punishments issued out for treason. Let me remind you, when a government elects people, and these people that are around these politicians are fully aware of what's going on, and they become complicit in covering up the crimes for their own safety or their own fucking careers, they too are guilty of the same crime. These crimes are unquantifiable. Let me point out why this is so, why something like the D penalty is needed. When a politician is involved in scandals and corruption in other countries, it leads to the death of innocent people. That is a fact. It doesn't mean that these politicians get away because they're not physically dropping the bombs or physically pulling the triggers. No, let's be very clear. The British government have been absolutely complicit in withholding information from the public about the crimes that's going on out there, without holding Benjamin Netanyahu to account and actually welcoming him into secret meetings inside Number 10. Welcoming in corrupt organisations like Larry Fink at BlackRock. These are people that are completely not held to account for their corporations and their involvements in wars by selling weapons and being involved in the politics that create these wars. This is very serious accusations here, but they're facts. These are not conspiracies. And people might say, well, what's your evidence? No, go look it up. Just go look up what the history of these people and what they've done, and look up the companies they're connected to, and look up what these companies are funding, and how AIPAC is involved with propaganda and stuff, and actually paying politicians. That should be illegal. You shouldn't have no one should be lobbying politicians except for the people who are paying their fucking wages. These people are elected, but are they really, or are they selected? What I'm talking about here is not popular for politicians. Politicians will not like what I'm saying here and what I'm insinuating and what I'm suggesting. And nor will many people underneath them working for them may come at me and say, hang on a minute. But look, let's just draw it real here. What I'm accusing, I'm saying that there are politicians inside governments that are blatantly involved in corruption and scandals involving very serious crimes against humanity, including genocides. This constant fucking suppression and increase in strict laws that is literally just protecting politicians is ridiculous now. Let me just be clear, yeah. If the public allow corrupt politicians to get away with crimes, and let me just remind you, Tony Blair, without a shadow of a doubt, should have been investigated properly for the crimes in Iraq. Knowing that now, the evidence that's come out, and the very, very iffy death of someone like Dr. Kelly, another alleged suicide, just like Jeffrey Epstein, again, another suspicious suicide. America has these problems too. Allowing politicians to continue to operate when these scandals are going on is dangerous. It is corruption. Now, whether the public want to believe that or know about that, it doesn't change the fact that it's the truth. Nothing I've said is a lie. I've not said any level of misinformation here. COVID was made in a lab in China, and the British government legitimately, from their control, suppressed an investigation into Chinese espionage from the Chinese Communist Party. Let me remind you what communists are. Communists are your enemy. Communists, you have to study history to know what communists do. You have to study history to know what Zionism is and what it does. You have to study the Fabian Society to know who founded that and what his beliefs were. He was a communist. I'm sorry, I do not agree with communism at any stretch. It is a dangerous ideology. My fucking ancestors, like many of your ancestors, put their life on the line to go against this. In the same way that they put their lives on the line to go against Hitler and the Nazis and the fascism. The left and the right can both go as extreme to murder. The left is not innocent of murder, and nor is the right. All these isms and political ideologies, most of them are dangerous, including democracy. But democracy, at least when it's regulated, is safer for civilizations to thrive and prosper. We do not live in a democracy anymore. The democracy has been compromised. World War III has already begun, and the very enemy of the public is, in most cases, in most countries around the world, their own government. We don't have to tolerate this. The general public do not have to tolerate corruption from a small group of people who are making a lot of money and then using their money and power to protect themselves. Protect them from what? Many people out there know what needs to be done. Many people know what the right thing is to do. I'm strongly advising people here, no matter what aspect and area of life you work in, whether you are just a mere builder who has no connection to whatever, question your company, ask what you're doing. Some of these people are being used in corporations and involved in government-funded operations that have not really been properly investigated and looked upon. Installing surveillance cameras, okay, all up and down the country to monitor speeds of cars sounds very, very obvious and whatnot. But let me just question, where's the technology coming from? Is it Chinese? Because if it is, that's a problem. Now, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just questioning all this surveillance that's being installed, all this facial recognition. Who has the contracts? Do we know these people? Do we know who's financing and where the money is? Most people don't realise that Land Rover and Jaguar is owned by an Indian company. It's not a British brand at all. Governments want to introduce a digital ID. Tony Blair's son's involved somehow in the financing. Can I point out, Tony Blair's son was also involved in legalities connected to the approval of vaccines. You have to understand the people you're dealing with here. Many people that are powerful and controlling a lot of this stuff have to, I repeat, have to be held to account in the most severe way possible if found guilty. This isn't a joke, and it's not a fucking dream that you're going to wake up from. This is real life.